A sketchbook has always been a huge part of my practice, or the way I start and the way I think about making work, especially the first page. The first page is, sometimes I just wish it was many, many first pages. When I was at university, I got really into making my own books because I loved it so much, and I wanted to go that next step and work out the mechanics of the book. This is a book that I made. And there is something so satisfying about the finish of it, and then the finish of it that you've made yourself. A bit like developing your own photograph. There's something magical about the end result. You're like, really? I made that? I also love that it has a spine. It feels like it has a body. It has a face. It has a spine. There's even a bit when you fold over the corners, they're called the ears of the book. So I feel like it has a kind of personality or a physicality to it. And I'm wondering if that's part of the reason I love it. It's the opposite of the internet. It's the opposite of a computer screen. It's a time-based thing. A book is something that takes time. There's a rhythm, there's a flow. But I also think about books as being diaries or journals. I think about books as being places to go to find answers, encyclopedias or religious scripts. I think of them as being maps. I think of them as being somewhere between a diary and a map and an encyclopedia that you're writing yourself. It's a sponge for ideas. It's a mirror of the self. It's something physical and constructed that contains things that would otherwise float away. And I always pride myself on allowing myself to take risks. There's something about a sketchbook, and this is one that doesn't have a cover, but the sketchbook is like a place where I would deliberately make mistakes. I would encourage chaos. I would go to bed at night, but before I go to bed, I would pour some water on it and go to bed. And in the morning, the water's evaporated, but the inks have bled. And there's something about the pages bleeding together, things sticking together. It feels sculptural. Doesn't feel like a painting on a wall that everyone's looking at going, what does this mean? It's something that you have to kind of unlock and participate in. And maybe there's secrets in it. That's something that's quite interesting, that maybe some of my sketchbooks, I don't want anyone to see. That's like the evidence or the clues to understanding the work. I would say that definitely things happen in a sketchbook that I then try and make happen on paintings. There's a freedom, there's a chaos, there's a overlapping, a bleeding of ideas that come together that surprises me how good it is. I do have a really good sketchbook here that I kept in Thailand. This is a good one to show. So, this book that I kept when I was in Thailand, every day, I was constantly drawing. And I would do things like this, like I would copy down the menu and then colour it in, and even get my kid to copy or draw some bits with me. I was using it, I guess, as a still life or a reference. Like I'm sort of observational drawing, but not in the way, I'm not trying to render a chair and a table. I'm not interested in creating a picture so much as like capturing the energy of the place or the intention and the vibe. I want to absorb and sort of present the vibe of a place. So yeah, I would say in relation to the project that we're doing, it's a wonderful way to gather and collect and absorb moments from the environment around you. So the week that I'll be there, I don't know what to expect, but I do know what it's like to go and make work intensely for 5 days. In fact, I love doing that. That's one of my favorite ways to make work, is sort of on the fly or spontaneously. And something magic happens. Maybe because all your receptors are heightened, your sense of everything in a new place is special. Everything feels different. You're in a new place around new people. And for me, that's a fantastic way for me to receive inspiration. But when I'm in a new place around new people, eating new food and looking at a new tree and sleeping in a new bed, like things feel different. So I've got a funny feeling there'll be no shortage of things to be inspired by at your place. I mean, the food and the conversation and allowing those things to feed into the book, to document and render the whole week in this book. And emphasize that it doesn't have to be perfect, you know. How will the books become unique to each person? Well, part of that is that they'll all be the same, but as that thing is used, it will take on the marks of that person. You can see this book. I mean, I really traveled with this book, so it picked up a lot of character. But before you know it, there's a mark on the front or a dog-eared corner or something. So I think there's a nice dynamic between something that is uniform and the same. And, you know, an A5 book, there's a consistency to the thing that we're making, but then maybe that emphasizes the inconsistency of each person, or it emphasizes the unique personality. But obviously people could, you know, rub raspberries on the front and it will change it. Like, that's up to each person. Each person is radically different. But yeah, I guess we'll see. I personally quite like the generic blankness of a book. I think part of its charm is that it just looks like a book. But then when you open it, it comes to life. And that will be very different. Each person's content will be very, very different. Their personalities will start to shine through. And you'll often find that people who are introverted end up working on being louder or extrovert, visually maybe, not so much what they're talking about. And vice versa. Some people will have the opportunity to maybe work on their strengths or weaknesses, things they're afraid of, things they think they know what to do. And I will try and bring that out of people. Use the book as a vehicle for change and curiosity. Don't just do what's safe and easy. Whenever you're with a group of anyone, it doesn't matter if they're artists or children or old friends in the pub, I love the hive mind. Curiosity is like one of my favorite human traits. So the best thing about having a group is that maybe someone will look at something in a way you haven't. Someone will notice something you didn't. Someone will make a mistake that other people learn from. Other people will contradict the rules and make you think, yeah, there's other ways to do this. Yeah, so any group of people, I'm gonna work hard at getting something out of it. You know, I've done lots of teaching and workshops. It's always amazing to me when you get 4 or even 40 people in a room, there's something happens, like people do encourage each other. There's an enthusiasm where you look over your shoulder, oh, hang on, they're doing that, I can do that. The energy of the room lifts when there's more people in it. So at the end of the week, as well as having a physical book to take home, they would also have the skills to make another book. So this is like a gift that keeps giving, because if they're anything like me, they might then get home and go and buy the materials and make another book and maybe make it wrong and learn from those mistakes. And like, it's quite addictive. I used to make books all the time, and I hope that maybe 1 or 2 of these people are like, wow, I'm never going to buy a sketchbook again. Because I really believe everyone, not artists, everyone should keep a sketchbook. There's something very meditative. It's a space and time to just be yourself. It's a place and time to fail. It's a place and time to breathe and draw and write. I get a lot out of that. When people talk about journaling, I do that, but with drawing, and I date it. And there's something very pleasurable about at the end of a year, you open up and you're like, wow, that was in February. This is where I was. This is where I was geographically, but this is also where I was psychologically. And I feel like I've seen the proof that it empowers people. I'm very passionate about less screen time for myself and other people. A sketchbook is the opposite of the internet. You're downloading data from your brain into something that's analog and real. It's real, and it doesn't run out of battery. So I'm very passionate about the relationship you can form with a sketchbook. I try and do it regularly, like I try and meditate and like I try and go for a run twice a week. Like there's something about, if I don't feel great, you probably need half an hour in your sketchbook. And I don't know what it is. I don't really want to know. To answer your question, what do I hope comes out of it? I hope people get a little bit of that out of it.